Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this week's video we complete our trio of castles of Gwent and take a visit to Skenfrith Castle. Situated at the north-eastern entrance into the tiny picturesque village of the same name, the pleasing approach into Skenfrith takes visitors through a lush countryside before arriving at the compact but interesting village. It is very lay-lowing for a castle. Usually castles are located high up on rocky outcrops, with views stretching far and wide. But Skenfrith is different, and I found this rather puzzling. At first glimpse the castle seems surprisingly simple, but inside and out the stronghold remains one of the finest in the Welsh marches. Initially the work of the Norman William Fitzosborne, who had control of the marches in the early 12th century. The first castle at Skenfrith was probably a Motte-and-bailey. Sadly, nothing has survived. What we see today at Skenfrith Castle was constructed by another Norman lord, Hubert de Burgh. A structure composed of a four-sided curtain wall, with its towers, and the fascinating round keep which dominates the interior. Although Skenfrith seems small when compared with its siblings at Grosmont and White Castles, it still is equally impressive. In medieval times, the River Monnow was much deeper and used to transport goods around the area. Skenfrith developed as a village because this was an important river crossing, and the English border is only a few mere miles away. Taking all of this into account, it becomes clear why this exact location was chosen for the construction of a castle. So even though a castle here would have no elevation, all of the other factors made it essential to have a fortified structure here. Throughout the 1160s and 1170s, the Mortimer and de Burgh's Marcher families were in constant conflict with their Welsh rivals. In 1182, the Welsh attacked nearby Abergavenny Castle, which led directly to the other castles in the area, being promptly upgraded and made ready for war. Skenfrith Castle received £43 worth of upgrading in 1186, with further works carried out in 1190. It is believed that the stone keep and the curtain wall were built during this time. In 1201, King John gave the three castles to Hubert de Burgh, who was a close friend and supporter of the king. The latter immediately started a rebuilding programme, starting at Grosmont Castle. However, before works could even start at Skenfrith, Hubert was captured whilst fighting in France. King John reclaimed the three castles and promptly gave it to Hubert's rival, William de Burgh. After a fallout between the king and William, the castles were then taken back into crowned hands in 1207. Further disputes led to the castles being retaken by William's son, who was also called William, during the First Barons' War. However, by 1219, Hubert was released from captivity and regained his status, and regained the three castles. It was at this time that Hubert completely rebuilt Skenfrith Castle. He levelled out the old castle and built a new rectangular one with round towers and a large circular keep, which is exactly what we can still see today, which are the ruins of Hubert's building works. Excavation has shown that the castle sits on an artificial gravel platform, up to around 12 feet thick. Evidence suggests that it is a defensive ditch that would have once surrounded the site with timber walls. This early castle probably dates back to just after the Norman conquest. Ralph of Grosmont is recorded as having spent £43 on the castle in the Pipe Roll of 1186 to 1187. In the same excavation that discovered the early Norman defensive ditch, a 12th century stone wall was found, which suggests that Ralph was starting to begin to build in stone. A well-carved decorative capital of red sandstone from the same period suggests a building of high quality, at possibly a keep or a hall. The curtain walls slope down to be thicker at the base than along the top for added defence, and it would have also included a wall walk all the way round the inner edge. Support holes in the curtain wall just below the level of the wall walk were to support a timber hoarding or a fighting gallery, which projected out of the wall and protected the defenders on top of the wall. Each corner tower was built with a solid circular basement, presumably accessed by a wooden ladder from some upper levels. The towers would have just been entered on the first floor via a wooden staircase from the outside. There were no windows, just arrow slits, which would suggest that the towers were purely for defence, not residence. This land marks the site of the original ditch, filled by water flowing from the river. Today, the best preserved portion of Skenfrith's moat is located on the eastern face of the castle, which is farthest from the parking area, which can be reached from outside the castle. The moat is also accessible from inside the castle through a curious feature known as the Watergate. Fans of Doctor Who might recognise this castle's location. When the TV show was filmed here in 2010, the castle featured in the episode Amy's Choice as a ruined castle in the fictional village of Ledworth, where the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, features. Most of the quaint, quiet village is used as well during the episode, and if you have the time, it's a nice place just to have a quick wander around too. Across the bailey and along the eastern wall between the south-east tower and the Watergate would have once been the kitchens. The lightly built foundations suggest that the buildings were timber and built up against the curtain wall with stone fireplaces, hearths and ovens. The main residence for the lord of the castle would have been inside the round tower keep, which sits at the middle of the inner bailey. Entrance inside the keep would have been like the corner towers through a doorway above ground level, which was reached by a wooden stairway from the bailey. The bottom level is again a basement, whilst the two upper floors would have contained the private apartments. A turret projects from the western side of the keep, and this would have held the spiral staircase that gave the access to the upper levels. The well-appointed apartments included large windows, hooded fireplaces and a private latrine. The keep was topped by a circular wooden hoarding, similar to the one that surmounted the curtain wall. Very little alterations have been made to the castle over the centuries. Whilst the exterior of Skenfrith Castle seems fairly plain, the interior is an unexpected visual treat. Skenfrith's charm is its round keep, which immediately grabs your attention as you cross the footbridge and through the main gateway. So that completes our 3 castles visit here in Monmouthshire, and we hope that it's given you some insight into the history and the exciting sights that you can see whilst you're visiting. Please be sure to hit that like button, click the notification bell to never miss a video, and even press the subscribe button if you enjoyed it. If you're interested in further supporting us and the channel, please check out our links in the description to our Patreon or press the join member button to see more. We want to say a big thank you to our PIN family and our members. So we'll see you in the next one. Till next time.